Buddhadhamma, Chapter 5, The Law of Karma, page 477. Purifying Kamma. The Buddha Gautama taught monks, if one were to say thus, this person experiences Kamma in precisely the same way that he has created it. In such a case, there could be no living of the holy life. The one that practiced celibacy, a brahmacharya. And no opportunity would be seen for completely making an end of dukkha, suffering, stress. But if one were to say thus, this person creates Kamma that is a basis for a particular kind of feeling, vedana, a feeling. He experiences its results precisely in that way. In such a case, the living of the holy life, a brahmacharya, a person who practiced celibacy, is possible, and an opportunity is seen for completely making the end of suffering, dukkha, and stress. Here, monks, bhikkhus, some person has created minor bad karma, yet it leads him or her to the hellish realm, while some other person here has created exactly the same minor karma, yet it produces results in this very life. With none of these insignificant aspects of this karma manifest, only its significant aspects. What kind of person creates minor bad karma that leads him to the hellish realm? Here, some person is undeveloped in body, undeveloped in morality, undeveloped in mind, and undeveloped in wisdom. His mind is limited. He is of inferior character. He is afflicted by petty concerns. When such a person creates minor bad karma, it leads him to the hellish realm. What kind of person creates exactly the same minor bad karma, and yet it produces results in this very life? With none of this insignificant aspect manifest, only its significant aspects. Here, some person is developed in body, developed in morality, developed in mind, and developed in wisdom. He is high-minded and of lofty character. He dwells without measure. When such a person creates exactly the same minor bad karma, it produces results in this very life, with none of the insignificant aspect manifest, only its significant aspects. Here, a headsman or some teacher holds such a doctrine and a view as this: anyone at all who destroys life, takes what is not given, engages in sexual misconduct, speaks falsehood, is bound for the state of misery, is bound for the hellish realm. A disciple who has full confidence in what the teacher considers, my teacher holds such a doctrine and a view as this: anyone at all who destroys life is bound for the state of misery, bound for the hellish realm. He acquires the view: now I have destroyed life, so I too am bound for the state of misery, bound for the hellish realm. If he does not abandon that assertion and that idea, and if he does not relinquish that view, then he will be, as it were, dropped into the hellish realm. But here, the tathagata arises in the world. In many ways, he is criticized and censures the destruction of life, the taking of what is not given, the sexual misconduct, the false speech. And he says, abstain from the destruction of life, the taking of what is not given, sexual misconduct and false speech. A discipline who has full confidence in that teacher reflects thus. In many ways, the Blessed One Gautama criticizes and censures the destruction of life. He has said, abstain from the destruction of life. Now I have destroyed life to such and such an extent that wasn't proper, that wasn't good. Certainly I am distressed as the consequence of these actions, and I am not free from the label of one who has done evil. Having reflected thus, he abandons the destruction of life, and he abstains from the destruction of life in the future. Thus there comes about the abandoning of the evil deed. He abandons the destruction of life and abstains from destruction of life. He abandons taking what is not given, sexual misconduct, false speech, divisive speech, harsh speech, idle chatter, covetousness, ill will, wrong view. He is one of right view. That noble disciple who is thus devoid of covetousness, devoid of ill will, undiluted, clearly comprehending, ever mindful, dwells pervading one quarter with a mind imbued with loving kindness. Likewise, the second quarter, the third quarter, and the fourth quarter, thus above, below, across, and everywhere. To all as to himself, he dwells pervading in the entire world with a mind imbued with loving kindness, vast, exalted, measureless, without hostility, without ill will. When the liberation of the mind of loving kindness is developed and cultivated in this way, any moderate Kamma that was done does not remain there, does not persist there. These teachings by Gautama Buddha are presented to help clarify some of the subtle details of the fruition of Kamma. They act as a precaution against establishing an opinion on Kamma too quickly or interpreting its meaning too simply. Having thus said this, these are the only few samples of the teaching of Kamma.